morning Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Small businesses in Jamaica say the slide in the value of the dollar putting their operations in jeopardy. Our top story for Caribbean Newsline for Friday, August 24 from the CMC News Center in Bridgetown. I'm Ricardo Roberts. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The Small Business Association of Jamaica, SBAG, is calling for urgent intervention from the government as it says its members are being squeezed out of existence. And it says the continuous devaluation of the Jamaican dollar has a lot to do with the current predicament. They say the other factors include high banking fees and increasing fuel prices. At a media briefing on Thursday, SBAJ President Hugh Johnson explained how businesses are being crippled by the negative economic climate, and he urged government to help the 3,500-strong group stabilize their operations. Herman Green of TVJ News reports.
Over the past 3 months, the dollar has fallen by 8%.
This impacts our planning and making our business significantly difficult in this type of environment. The Small Business Association of Jamaica is urging the government to make whatever measure necessary to stem this runaway slide in the dollar that we believe is being caused by greed.
Mr. Johnson says he notes the explanations given by the Finance Ministry and Bank of Jamaica, but says their arguments are not convincing.
If you notice carefully the report coming from the financial sector as it relates to their operation, they have been seeing significant increase in their bottom line. And where it comes from? Exchange rate trading and fees.
He also noted that transportation costs represent the largest expenses for small business operators. He says the movements in fuel prices adds to the hardships they are experiencing.
Having observed the disparity in the cost of a barrel of fuel on the world market as against the price announced weekly by Petrojan. It is announced by Petrojan. SBAJ is calling on the government and its regulatory bodies to investigate and intervene in the pricing mechanism used by Petrojan and to make public their findings.
He insists that it is the government's responsibility to restore a more equitable system. He says if these factors aren't addressed, small business operators could be forced to close.
Meantime, Governor of the Bank of Jamaica, Brian Winter, has dismissed claims that the dollar is deliberately being devalued to increase the inflation rate. In September 2017, the government set a medium-term inflation target of 4.6% to be achieved and maintained by the bank from April 2018 onwards. But the inflation target was not met. The Bank of Jamaica is projecting that inflation for the September to December quarter should remain close to 3.5%. Winter said it should rise to the initial target's midpoint by June 2019 and remain at that level over the medium term. Former Barbados Government Minister Donville Innes, who's been accused in the United States of money laundering charges, is said to have started negotiations with federal prosecutors in his case. The Barbados Today online newspaper reported that the revelation came as Innes pleaded not guilty to conspiracy and money laundering charges in a New York court on Thursday. There were no details as to the nature of the negotiations. The former MP is accused of taking about $36,000 in bribes from high-level executives of the Insurance Corporation of Barbados Limited back in 2015 and 2016. Prosecutors allege that Innes used his position as a government minister to help the insurance company secure 2 government contracts, and that he concealed the nature of the bribes by receiving them through a dental company and a bank located in New York under the guise of payments for consulting services. If found guilty, Innes could spend up to 20 years in jail and be fined up to $500,000. A delegation from the United States earlier this week concluded a visit to Guyana, which President David Granger described as a fact-finding mission. Speaking to local media after the private meeting, he said a number of issues were discussed and areas of cooperation explored. We get more in this report from MTV.
The team, which was headed by Republican Bob Goodlatte, included Congressmen Steve Cohen, John Rutherford, Scott Peters, Mark Sanford, Richard Hudson, and Todd Rokita, along with several officials of the United States Army. President Granger, in an invited comment, said he briefed the delegation on several areas, including the Guyana-Venezuela border controversy, territorial controversy with Suriname, migration of Venezuelans into Guyana, an economic overview of Guyana's traditional sectors, the emerging oil and gas sector, and Guyana's pursuit of a green agenda and environmental conservation, and Guyana's political and governance systems.
We are part of the hemisphere. We have cordial relations with the United States. I see the meeting as largely fact-finding. They want to familiarize themselves with the situation in the hemisphere as a whole. And of course, today the focus was on Guyana. So my brief to them was largely in 4 areas, dealing with points that I think they would have been interested in, and I think in that regard it was successful.
The president said during discussions on Guyana's green agenda, the team was impressed with Guyana's commitment to protecting the environment. President Granger noted that the 2 sides also discussed areas of cooperation, which can be built and enhanced where needed, in areas such as security, energy, and disaster response and preparedness.
We're not wedded to one concept. We're choosing, some areas may have solar, some areas may have hydro, some areas may have wind, some areas may have natural gas. So we're looking at a mix of energy sources, and we are confident that we'll bring the tariff rate down to below 15 US cents per kilowatt hour, and maybe we'll keep moving downwards and have cheap energy. And this would be important to manufacturers. So some of the questions were concerned with the possibilities of cheap energy.
He noted, too, that the congressmen particularly have expressed interest in the energy sector and the possibility of access to cheap electricity for Guyanese and other stakeholders. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Carl Greenidge, and Minister of State, Mr. Joseph Harmon, accompanied the president at the meeting.
Meanwhile, opposition leader Bharat Jagdeo has questioned the motive and outcome of the meeting.
During a news conference today, opposition leader Bharat Jagdeo told reporters the visit by the U.S. Congress delegation seems odd. A number of United States congressmen arrived in Guyana on Wednesday in a secret meet with government officials. Minister of State Joseph Harmon had announced that the Congress delegation will be visiting the country for a familiarization visit.
We are very worried about all these secret engagements with the government of Guyana, and in an open society like ours.
Jagdeo suspected the team might have had discussions on the Guyana-Venezuela controversy and the oil and gas industry. While the opposition party was not invited to meet the delegation, the party would have liked to be included in the deliberations with the team.
I do not believe that any attempt to develop a sinister policy of preventing democratic forces in Guyana to prevail will be done in such an open manner, particularly open and clumsy manner.
Media operatives were barred from interacting with the delegation.
Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, more than 200 homes damaged in Trinidad and Tobago in this week's 7.3 magnitude quake. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Dominica's World Creole Music Festival in 2018, October 26, 27, 28 at the Windsor Park Stadium in the capital city, Roseau. 3 nights, over 8 genres, 40 years of independence, 1 location, Dominica, the 20th edition of Dominica's World Creole Music Festival. For more information, like our Facebook page, Dominica Festivals. Visit our website, www.dominicafestivals.com for all travel, accommodation, and ticketing details. My love, my home, my Dominica. Building a resilient nation. See you there! Proudly sponsored by the Government of Dominica and Discover Dominica Authority.
All right. Okay. Start back, so. Build up, so. All right, the first dancer we're going to let on stage. You know it's all about Codex Campers. Codex Campers. Let's go. Bila Baizo, Bila Baizo, Bila Baizo, Bila Baizo. Codex, hey. Unruly Campers, what go on? What are they? Hey, what are they? Unruly. What are they? Hey, what are they? Everybody give them a round of applause. All right.
We continue in Trinidad and Tobago, where disaster management units for the 14 municipal corporations have received more than 200 reports of major and minor structural damage to homes following Tuesday's 7.3 magnitude earthquake in neighboring Venezuela. Minister of Rural Development and Local Government Kazim Hussein says the majority of reports are of minor structural damage, such as wall cracks, and the corporations are making every effort to assist all affected families. The ministry says it continues to monitor the situation. And staying in Trinidad and Tobago, the local arm of the 12 tribes of Israel is calling on the relevant authorities to amend legislation regarding the use of marijuana. Spokesperson for the Rastafarian group, Clyde Noel, says decriminalization is long overdue.
Idea which time has come, and we have been marching and participating in all the different issues of marijuana over the years. We've been criminalized and discriminated against, and now that the forum is on top of the agenda, we think our victory is soon at hand.
Noel said the group will continue to fight not just for the decriminalization of marijuana, but for an end to all forms of oppression plaguing the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines government has suspended the importation of pesticides that contain the active ingredient glyphosate, which is found in commonly used pesticides such as Roundup, Touchdown, and Glyphos. The government said in a statement on Friday that in doing so, it was acting on the advice of the Pesticides Board, which conducted a preliminary review and determined that further research is needed on the chemicals. In the interim, a special technical committee has been established to advise on sustainable alternatives to the listed chemicals. That committee is expected to present its findings by October 1st. Meanwhile, the Caribbean Agriculture Research and Development Institute, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, and the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture have been asked to provide support to the Ministry of Agriculture to conduct a full chemical analysis on these products. The Ministry of Agriculture is also scheduled to launch a national sensitization program. And ahead in Newsline Sport, Barbados and Guyana remain unbeaten in the regional under-19 50-over championships. Stay with us, sport is next.
This hurricane tip comes to you compliments the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency and the Caribbean Media Corporation. Be prepared. During the storm or hurricane warning, shut off main electrical breaker.
It is quite possible and quite easy, in fact, for unscrupulous people to buy an election and buy and install a government.
I do believe that the role of the opposition is not absolutely clear to the public.
How could one political party allow themselves to be so outfoxed? I mean, not even one seat.
We as parties in opposition must ensure that the process of the election process is right.
And the question is, how do you win that middle group that seems to change from time to time and change government?
Opposition parties speak on Time to Face the Facts this Sunday, August 26, 8 p.m. on Carib Vision and the Time to Face the Facts show Facebook page.
The Acura Team Penske prototypes came into the 6 hours of the Glen riding high with a win and 2 podiums in the last 2 events.
In just a matter of seconds after the green, Dane Cameron in the number 6 Acura had the lead coming out of turn 1. The 7 car, with Ricky Taylor in the seat, escaped some early contact with a back marker to charge into second. Taylor was optimistic after his opening triple stint.
Front runners Barbados and Guyana maintained their unbeaten run in the regional under-19 50-over championships, while Canada remained winless following the completion of the 4th round of matches on Thursday. Barbados and Guyana each notched their 3rd consecutive victories. For Barbados, it was with a win over Canada, while Guyana beat Leeward Islands. After finishing 2nd in the 4-day competition, Barbados continued their push for the title with a comprehensive 8-wicket win over Canada. Canada could only muster 175 in 45.3 overs, with Barbados making light work of the target as they ended on 176 for 2 in 34.4 overs. Meantime, Guyana comfortably defeated the Leeward Islands by 114 runs to stay on track with Barbados and set up a key clash on Saturday. Now, after posting 215 for 8 in their 50 overs, they then restricted the Leewards to 101. Guyana owed their eventual total to a 78-run 6th-wicket partnership between Javed Karim, who made 39, and Junior Sinclair, who got 36, that rescued them from the precarious position of 107 for 5. Kumar Torrington and Joshua Jones then tore through the Leewards' top order to leave them with little chance of reaching their target. There was also a win for the Windward Islands, who coincidentally also won by 114 runs over Trinidad and Tobago. The Windwards posted the day's highest total of 219 and then routed TNT for just 105. Nathaniel McDavid with 44, Avinash Maharber Singh, who scored 39, and Justin Gangu, who made 24, mounted a serious lower order fight back for the Windwards after they had slumped to 84 for 5. Then, in a sensational bowling performance, the Windwards' opening pair of Jaden Seals and Joshua James dismissed TNT's first 4 batsmen for ducks to practically seal the contest. James finished with figures of 4 for 34. Justin Gangu, who claimed 3 for 16, and Seals with 2 for 16, helped to wrap up TNT's innings. Jamaica's Reggae Girls will be banking on home advantage to top the table and qualify for the knockout stages of the CONCACAF Women's Championships. The women kick off their campaign against Antigua and Barbuda on Friday in hopes of advancing to the finals in France next year. TVJ's Denise Walters has that story.
Jamaica will be hosting the final round of CONCACAF Caribbean Women's World Cup qualifiers, and the senior Reggae girls say they're looking forward to performing in front of their home fans. Defender Toriana Patterson says with the backing of the 12th man, the team should get the job done.
Yeah, I think we're all really excited, especially me, to be playing in front of our home. It should be a good time. I think we're going to get some good results out of this tournament. So.
Patterson says during the recently concluded CAC games, Jamaica faced some tough opponents, especially Colombia, who was in the last World Cup, and victory against them for the team was huge.
I think that the more time that we get together as a team is advantageous for us, just because a lot of new faces coming in, young faces, so it's just important that we get more and more time together. So the fact that we got to play 3 games together and spent like 2.5, 3 weeks together, I think was important.
Midfielder Chinya Lou Asher, who only played against Colombia, having arrived at the games late, says the girls learned a lot in Barranquilla and will be putting it to use on home soil.
I think it was our first real test in a while, and I think the largest takeaway was that we're a very capable group of girls, and our attitude, our spirit, our energy, once we all kind of unite under that same front, then, hey, we can take any game, so it was really good for us.
Asher says she is happy with the progress the team is making.
As a team, we've been growing with each tournament, so it's great to see that momentum and that growth with each set of games, and so it was really good.
Meanwhile, assistant coach Andrew Price says 4 local-based players are included in the 23-member squad. Davia Smith from JFF Women's League mid-season champions Waterhouse, Kevin Reed of Olympic Gardens, Gabriel Gale of SC Monarchs, and Crescent Chambers of UWI.
Yes, we have a local component, and we have a lot of local players who attend college overseas, so, it's good to have that camaraderie with both the local and overseas-based players, and, we are looking for a productive tournament.
Price says the team is well balanced and it is important that the squad reflects the best players irrespective of where they play or where they are from.
A lot of the overseas-based players who have Jamaican connection and have matriculated through our age groups, people like Jody Brown, 16-year-old, very good player from St. Anne's. We also have Kanya Plummer, Kajija Shaw, so, we have a good balance and a good representation of Jamaican, What we look at, we believe that we should put the best 11 out there on the pitch all the time, and it doesn't really matter where you are originally from.
The Reggae girls first play against Antigua and Barbuda this Friday at the National Stadium. The other teams in the group are Trinidad and Tobago, Cuba, and Bermuda.
Staying with football now, Bermudan striker Naki Wells has had to put his dream of scoring his first English Premier League goal on hold for 12 months after joining struggling second-tier London club Queen's Park Rangers from Burnley on Thursday on a season-long loan. But after he passed a medical, the 28-year-old said he was excited about the challenges that lay ahead at Championship club QPR, who are bottom of the table after 4 straight defeats. Now, it is understood that the deal did not include an option or obligation to buy him permanently. QPR, which is managed by former England boss Steve McLaren, has also picked up Brighton and Hove Albion striker Toma Hemed on loan until the end of the season. Well spent most of the last season as Burnley's 4th-choice striker behind Ashley Barnes, Chris Wood and Sam Vokes, and dropped further down the pecking order after the arrival of Vidra at the Turf Moor. And 2 goals from Osami de la Torres were enough to help Cuba beat the Cayman Islands and seal the Caribbean Football Union's Under-14 Challenge title. And as we hear also in this report from Cayman 27's Jordan Armanese, Bermuda crushed the U.S. Virgin Islands.
4th minute, tackle in the box, you know what that means. Penalty kick, goalkeeper ready, Ishmael Perez fires. 1-0 Cuba to start. 23rd minute, 2-0 Cuba, through ball, beautiful. Keeper can't handle it. It's going to be 3-0 at the half for the Cubans. Second half, 56th minute, now 4-0 Cuba. K-man Shamir Hendricks Seymour. He scores to get K-man on the board, 4-1. Looking to make a comeback But in the 62nd minute, the fans are pleased. Look how happy they are. They're not going to be pleased about this, though. Cuba coming down the flank. Giovanni Mendez makes no mistake. 5-1 the final. That's how this one would end.
Organized. We need to stay better organized and continue to keep our heads in the game, continue to keep composure, you know, keep the ball, let the ball do the work. We're giving the ball away too much, and that's a lesson learned. I think we need to go back and continue to work hard. It's a major improvement since May. We could see the team progressing, but the better team won tonight, and that's how it goes.
All right, let's take a look at the early game. Bermuda, unbelievable. Undefeated in the tournament, 11-0 win over the United States Virgin Islands. Bermuda didn't concede a goal in the last 5 halves of football. Just one conceded the entire tournament. That was in the first half of the tournament opener last Saturday versus Cuba. The under-15s, 4K man and across the region now have almost 12 months to prepare for the CONCACAF Under-15 Boys Championship.
And that's the sports, Steve. Thus, we'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Dominica's World Creole Music Festival in 2018, October 26, 27, 28 at the Windsor Park Stadium in the capital city, Roseau. 3 nights, over 8 genres, 40 years of independence, 1 location, Dominica, the 20th edition of Dominica's World Creole Music Festival. For more information, like our Facebook page, Dominica Festivals. Visit our website, www.dominicafestivals.com for all travel, accommodation, and ticketing details. My love, my home, my Dominica. Building a resilient nation. See you there! Proudly sponsored by the Government of Dominica and Discover Dominica Authority.
Love her. Okay, so, but yeah, like for, you know, middle, I guess what you would call middle class families, you have to basically work and invest and create a budget and work within that until you can get to the next step.
Right.
So as far as my education is concerned, very all over the place. I was...
Possible and quite easy, in fact, for unscrupulous people to buy an election and buy and install a government.
I do believe that the role of the opposition is not absolutely clear to the public.
How could one political party allow themselves to be so outfoxed? I mean, not even 1 seat.
We as parties in opposition must ensure that the process of the election process is right.
And the question is, how do you win that middle group that seems to change from time to time and change government?
Opposition parties speak on Time to Face the Facts this Sunday, August 26, 8 p.m. on Carib Vision and the Time to Face the Facts show Facebook page.
Again, the major developments of this day. Small businesses in Jamaica say the slide in the value of the dollar is putting their operations in jeopardy. And in sport, front runners in the regional under-19 50-over championships, Barbados and Guyana maintained their unbeaten run while Canada remained winless at the end of the fourth round of matches. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news on sport round the clock, subscribe to CaribNews.com. For more for our programming, log on to CaribVisions TV and subscribe to our CaribVisions YouTube channel. That's Caribbean Newsline. Good night.